What's going on, Jerome's? The NFL draft is mercifully 2 weeks away, and the Vikings, it's going to be a little bit interesting. So the Vikings don't have a ton of draft picks. They have 24, 97, a fifth, and a sixth-round pick, mainly due to trades last year for J.J. McCarthy, Diamond Dallas Turner. Woo! Love to see that. But I just feel like there's going to be chaos. Like, there's going to be some ridiculous stuff going down in the draft concerning the Vikings. So here are 10 truths about the Minnesota Vikings heading into the 2025 NFL selection meeting. I'm trying to pause. And also, it was fun just being able to watch the Wolves meltdown in real time doing the dump yesterday. It was good. Number one, the Vikings are set up for true blue BPA. So best player available at 24 or potentially a trade down. And the Vikings are in that spot because Kwesi was smart, doubling down at running back, bringing back Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, doubling down on offensive line, Kelly and Fries, as well as Allen Hargrave along the D-line, and then Murph as well as Isaiah Rodgers at cornerback. Plus, Jeff Okudah, why the hell not? All right, so the Vikings are set up to go best player available. So it may be a little bit surprising because I know that everyone's saying, hey, O-line, D-line, corner, safety, no matter what. It could get weird, especially if the Vikings are forced to stick and pick at 24. Maybe a wide receiver like Egbuka or LB3 sneak in there. Colson Loveland, the tight end from Michigan we talked about a lot. Things could get interesting, so certainly for the Vikings at 24. Next up, number two. Lack of picks is not an issue, right? And the snarky thing is that, Kwesi will screw up anyway. Right, so there's fewer opportunities for him to screw up. But like we said, this Vikings roster, it's not hyperbole. Like, honestly, if there's a game tomorrow, they can line up and play and be really, really damn good. Plus, I know a lot of people piss and moan. It's like, well, Dallas Turner didn't get the run that Jared Verse did. It is a sign of a good team if a rookie doesn't have to play right away. Now, some rookies are just transcendent talents and they're in there right away. But generally, especially higher drafted players, if you're starting right away, it means that your team is a little bit lacking, right? And Turner, being behind AVG and Jonathan Grenard, two starting outside linebackers for the Pro Bowl, I think it's okay. Everything is going to be all right. Next up, number three. Just consider J.J. McCarthy and Diamond Dallas Turner as part of this draft class, and you really should, because last year, 2024, making moves, making that small trade up for J.J. McCarthy, getting that late first-round pick from the Texans before the draft, and people forget about that. That was basically an unprecedented move, where it's not often where a team trades a non-top of the first-round draft pick before the draft. The Vikings did that mainly because they wanted flexibility to be able to put together a package if they wanted to leapfrog and go into the stratosphere and go get a quarterback. But they trusted the board. They made a small move to get J.J. McCarthy from 11 to 10, and that's the rest of it. And then Turner coming up from the Texans pick up to 17 with the Jaguars. And yeah, it did take a little bit of capital from the 2025 class, but hey, Turner is going to be worth it. So no sweat there. And God, bums me out every time just seeing Kyrie Jackson. Rest in power. Kyrie would have been so damn good, man. Probably would have started this year. Next up, number 4. Focus on UDFAs. And that's what the Vikings have done, lining up their top 30 visits. A lot of players that are either considered fringe day 3 or undrafted free agent players. And of course, we know that Kwesi and his track record with the UDFAs, starting and ending with Ivan Pace Jr., Ryan Wright. You look at Gabriel Murphy, Bo Richter in that mix as well. Najee Thompson coming on back, special team superstar. So the Vikings, the Vikings do their diligence, and the scouting, persuasion, and free agency cajoling makes the Vikings power players with UDFAs. Next up, number 5, the 2023-2022 classes don't matter, and I know. 2022 was the nut low of draft classes, but there was so many things going on. Number 1, Kwesi's first draft. Number 2, still largely Spielman scouts before the changeover. Number 3, it was Ed Donachel having input on this defense, and the Vikings going defense early and often in this draft. Seen, gone. Booth, gone. Asamoah, around. Evans, gone. Atamoa, way gone. So it's a lot different than input from Donachel versus input from Ryan Flores, right? And a lot of people just love harping on this one. Well, what about 2022? What about 2022? Even what about 2023? Even though Blackman was lined up to be a starter last year, Jaquelin's gone, Jaron Hall's gone, Dwayne McBride's gone. But also, take a look at most teams drafts, 2-3 years down the road. I mean, a lot of them are gutted, right? And, but the Vikings only got one starter from the 2 drafts. I guess pace doesn't count at all. Yeah. But as we said before, hey, it's fine. Hey, you can complain about those drafts all along, but the Vikings still have one of the best rosters in the National Football League. And, hey, it's perfectly fine because we do say that teams should not be built through free agency, and it is a paradigm shift that the Vikings are going to have to pivot from. And eventually, I mean, the Vikings had a historic free agent class last year. They had a very damn good one this year as well. But eventually, you have to be able to draft and develop your own guys because that is where the advantage is. But it is what it is. And the Vikings, yeah, you could say the Vikings had to be players in free agency because they didn't have starters or depth from the 2022 or 2023 classes. But I feel like they came out okay. No one ever talks about that part. Next up, number 6. There's no needs, but there's some wants. And I know, well, no, defensive tackle is a need. Yeah, I get it. Allen, Phillips, Hargrave, up there in age. You do want to, fill those coffers, even though I do believe in LDR and Jalen Redmond. Or you look at offensive guard, because it would be nice to just get a set it and forget it left guard, whether it's Zabel or you trade down and you get Jackson or Booker, one of the two, right? Or Tate Ratledge in that mix. But that's more of a want than a need, because I do think that Brandel, with Darisaw healthy and Ryan Kelly next to him versus Bradbury, could be something. Walter Rouse could be something. Michael Juergens could be something as well. Tight end, sure. Yeah. Tight end is kind of a need since you only have 2 of them on the rooster. But, I mean, are you really going to spend anything more than a late round pick or UDFA selection to go get a tight end 3 and 4? Possible, unless Loveland is there, and then all bets are off. So it really is more about the Vikings don't have any glaring needs, have to come away with pick XYZ high, which is pretty good since Vikings don't have a lot of picks anyway. Number 7. Which is good because the Vikings don't have a lot of picks anyways. Number 7. Trade down is likely. So the Vikings at 24 certainly could be looking to move down. But as we said, it may be a little bit more difficult because that's right where the meat of this draft is. And teams with multiple seconds or high second and thirds may not be looking to part ways with it or move down too far or give the Vikings too much of a deal. So, I mean, the Vikings may want to trade down. That's perfectly fine, but it does take 2 to tango. But number 8, a trade up wouldn't be insane. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about just first round. We could be talking about moving up from 97 up into the second round or from the 5th round up, because the Vikings are in line for some nice compensatory picks. And it would be because of the extra comp picks in 2026. So right now they're in line for a 3rd, a 4th, and maybe they get a 7th if Shaq Griffin signs for something decent with the Seahawks. So the Vikings do have some extra draft capital to play with that is projected to hit them next year. And I don't know, I still think a trade up is unlikely from 24. But baby, if the right player falls, say Will Johnson, cornerback from Michigan falls, Mason Graham, defensive tackle from Michigan falls. I mean, just dreams. We got dreams. We got plans, man. Plus, I know that everyone and their mom is attached to safety Nick Emenwari. I think that the Vikings might have to move to go get him. Or Jahdae Barron, the Swiss Army knife, do-it-all defensive back from Texas. I think that they may have to move to go get him. But all options are on the table, because even though the Vikings don't have a ton of picks this year, they got a ton of picks next year. They're going to be good to go. And lastly, number 10, trust the process, right? And I feel like this happens every single year. Now, if you've been watching for the channel for a while, I'm always like, focus on what players can do versus what they can't do, right? And I think that there is problem with groupthink in the draft Twitter community. I think that there's a problem with getting target fixated on a certain player, where it's like, if they don't draft this player, they are losers and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Or you hold it against a draft pick because he wasn't your guy. Yeah. I mean, the draft process is fun. It's fun to tinker with and think about, hey, this guy could fit in here. We could get him here. He's a blah, 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 blah. But just don't be pig-headed about it. Oh, there's no way that this player falls out of the first round. There's 45 players right now that have zero goose egg DeAndre Russell chance to fall out of first round, according to the draft experts. So have fun with it. Trust the process. Any players that end up here with the Vikings are future Hall of Famers, and don't think anything else. Everyone else is dead to me. No, but that's a good way to go about it. Like, you're not the smartest person in the world. I certainly am not either. And then just go from there. I feel like that's a good stance to have in life, not just with the draft. You know? Who knows? Anyways, that's it. That's at Tell the Truth Thursday, 2025 Vikings NFL Draft Edition. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.